able to make the trip down to the Glass City. Seth Milner and Malik Muhammad jumping center. Ball thrown in the air by Toledo and Ed Phillips. And we are underway. Toledo in white, Central Michigan in maroon and gold. The ball in the hands of Marion Jackson, who shredded Central Michigan in Mount Pleasant last year, had a career-high 37 points. And brought on cue the man we talked about in the open. We said he's on another planet right now, shooting the three. Spencer Littleson knocks down an early three. You see a familiar starting five there for the Rockets.
Yeah, that was over a contested hand, too. Spencer Littleson off to a good start once again.
There was Matt Beechler trying to answer from three and cannot. We mentioned late in the open, Trevon Broadway Jr. is their leading scorer, just under 17 points a game. Seth Milner comes up empty, and great strength from Muhammad on the rebound. Malik Muhammad missed the first 4 games this year due to an injury, but he's been very good since then. Their leading rebounder at 7 a game. Broadway will launch a three and hit it, and we're tied up at 3.
Yeah, that's his 19-made triple on the season, 36%. So he'll need to do a better job, or to do a good job here this evening of knowing where he's at on the floor. He's the leading scorer for the Chips.
I think that might be Marion Jackson's favorite spot on the floor, 28 feet away from one of the wings.
He's done it with high regularity all season long, 46 of them for Marion Jackson.
Rhett, take us through your keys.
Well, for Central Michigan defensively, they got to run Toledo shooters off the arc. Toledo averages 11 made threes a ball game, first in the Mid-American Conference, and force them to be drivers. Free throw shooting for Central Michigan is going to be a key as well. They only shoot 63%. Got to do a better job there. Then the X factor. We talked about it. They bring 3 double-digit scorers into the ball game here this evening. So who's going to be the X factor? Last year, Devontae Lane. Who's it going to be this evening? For Toledo, gap control. Central Michigan loves to get out in transition, attack teams off of the dribble drive, control the gap, force kickouts. Ball security is at a premium. Central Michigan scored 27 points off 19 Eastern Michigan turnovers in their last ball game. Transition defense as well. They like to push it. They like to drive it. They average 80 points a game coming into this one. So they need to be able to get back and make Central score against all 5 of their defenders.
We saw easy buckets at either end. Mikkel Murray for Central Michigan. Ryan Rollins, the fine freshman, answering for Toledo. There's Muhammad going to work on the offensive glass.
I'll tell you, that was a big boy rebound right there. Malik Muhammad had 3 games in a row of double-digit rebounds. Had it snapped in the last ball game, but playing at a high level on the backboard.
Seth Milner has been a terrific addition to the Toledo program this year. Moving on, Muhammad comes up short. Muhammad able to tip that to Trevon Broadway. Broadway senior from Miami, a transfer from Iowa Western Community College. And that's a hallmark of Keno Davis Central Michigan teams. A lot of junior college guys, and it's been kind of an issue this year with basically a brand new ball club replacing their top 4 scorers from a season ago. Trying to get cohesive in the age of COVID. It hasn't exactly been an easy thing for them to do. Let's check in with Danny Rogers. Hey, Danny.
Thanks, Mason. Head coach Keno Davis told me yesterday when we spoke he was having a hard time of picking out and breaking down the weaknesses that this Toledo Rockets team has. I said, Coach, just give me one weakness. It won't even make error. He said, honestly, I can't think of any. We haven't been able to find one, but if you've got one, feel free to share it with me. Davis added that the fact that Toledo was able to have their 5 best players on the court at all times provides a depth in scoring that is lethal for other teams' defenses. Mason?
JT Shoemate there, lethal on the offensive glass. He'll head to the free throw line.
Yeah, JT Shoemate with his length, he's got a high motor on the inside, worked his way into a position to where he gets some contact and get to the line.
Foul was on Caleb Huffman, who is in off the bench along with Ralph Bissaith. Central Michigan with a small lineup countering what Toledo does. The Rockets don't have a starter that's over 6'7". And Bissaith right now will sit at the 5 spot, also 6'7", but very bouncy. JT Shoemate has been outstanding since becoming eligible right before Toledo's game down at Marshall on December 16th. Came off the fingertips of Ryan Rollins. And with Shoemate in the starting lineup the last 5 games, they're averaging 88 points a game as opposed to 75 a game before he entered the lineup.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say so.
It's in a little full court pressure here. Trying to maybe speed up Central Michigan, force a turnover, but the very least is drive the shot clock down and make them shoot over contested hands at the end of it.
Or turn the ball over like that. That slipped through the hands of Huffman. There's Marion Jackson. Transition three wouldn't go. The follow wouldn't go either for Littleton. There's Rollins in traffic with a rebound. It'll stay with Toledo out of bounds. Ryan Rollins, an outstanding rebounder for a guard. In fact, is the second leading rebounder on this Toledo team at 5.5 per game. Just how they drew it up, almost. That play usually comes off. We've seen that more than once. Milner couldn't finish that time. Broadway pouncing off his own teammate. I think it was Bassaith he ran into. Got it to go anyway.
Yeah, sort of point blank look, doesn't get it to go, and then Broadway off balance. Able to get it off 1 foot.
And Shoemate rolling to the rim and scoring on the inside.
That's a great assertive move by J2 Shoemate. Used that dribble to get his legs in balance and powered it up and in.
Broadway couldn't get a shot up over Shoemate. And Huffman denied the first time by Rollins. And that's off of Huffman out of bounds. A couple of early turnovers for him. Another junior college transfer from Iowa Western, same school as Trevon Broadway. 4.5 minutes in, Toledo up 12-9 on Central Michigan.
About 80 points a ball game. Love to push it in transition, get to the rim. Toledo, their ball boom has been exquisite all season long. Their ability to shoot the three, talked about 11 made threes, is good enough for first in the Mid-American Conference, and on top of that, 40% rate of knocking down those threes is good for first in the Mid-American Conference. So what team defensively can really dig in here, try to slow the momentum of the other team down, will go a long way to determine the winner of this one.
That's Ralph Bassaith hitting from the outside. Each team with 2 made threes in the early going here. Keyshawn Saunders and Mattia Akunzo have both come in for the Rockets. And Malik Mohammed back out there for CMU. It's a very long Bassaith on Marion Jackson at the moment. He's 7 inches taller than Marion is. There's a miss from Milner, and Huffman racing to the other end. Bassaith thought better of taking another quick three. Devontae Lane, a guy, if he wants to get to the basket, he's going to. This is Bassaith in the corner. That one a little long and knocked out of bounds by Marion Jackson.
Talk about Central Michigan, they knocked down 2 threes already this early in the first half. And when you look at the numbers coming into it, they only averaged 6.8 makes behind the three-point line, this season. So them getting off to a good start behind the arc is a positive for them.
Matt Beechler called for that foul, a lot of contact as he tried to fight for the basketball. There's been kind of a gradual shift the last few years at Central Michigan. They're taking fewer threes. 3 years ago, 47% of their shots were from beyond the arc. This year down to just 32%. There's Mattia Akunzo inside, off the feed from Marion Jackson. All 5 of Toledo's made baskets have been assisted so far.
Yeah, nice job Akunzo on the roll, got the defender and got him on his back. Marion Jackson did a good job, giving him a nice bounce pass he could handle at the rim.
Here's Beechler rising up, can't connect on the three. Keyshawn Saunders comes up with the rebound. He's been terrific lately, averaging 14 a game in his last 3, including 20 here against Eastern Michigan. That was a well-defended drive, though. Caleb Huffman able to stay in front of him.
What's the drive, Mateo? What's the drive, Mateo?
Lane trying to move on Spencer Littleson, who's considered one of, if not the best on-ball defender in the Mid-American Conference. Bassaith with the offensive rebound leads to a miss from Beechler. Mohammed goes back to work on the offensive glass. It's a tie-up, and the arrow will keep it with CMU.
Central Michigan's done a great job on the offensive glass here early in the first half, creating some extra possessions, extra opportunities, for their ball club on that end of the floor. We'll see if they can capitalize.
Ryan Rollins is back in for Toledo. An interesting Jonathan Kamagum off the bench just 7 minutes in. He did not play in the overtime loss at Akron on Saturday. That's an air ball three from P.J. Mitchell, who had just checked in.
And I think that's exactly why you see Jonathan Kamagum in the game this early, is because of the size that Central Michigan is putting on the floor and the job they're doing on that offensive glass. Try to get some extra rebounding help.
5 offensive rebounds already for Central Michigan. And Kamagum was one of the leading junior college rebounders in the country last year. Okunzo. The 3 ball was denied, but nobody could step in front of him on the drive, and Okunzo with a couple of early buckets off the bench.
Well, he does have the ability to stretch the floor from behind the arc. That's why the defense is so tight. So good job utilizing the shot fake, get the defense off balance, and put the ball on the floor and get into the rim.
Good defense straight up by Kamagum, who has such a long wingspan. Ended up with Mikel Murray anyway, couldn't bank it home. Yeah, that's what Kamagum is on the floor to do.
Well, he got the rebound. Mattia Kunzo did a good job of challenging the shot, going straight up and down, being vertical, where Kamagum picked up the miss.
Rollins, I think, stepped on the basketball. Yikes. He's still trying to get his bearings, going back the other way. There's a handoff to Broadway, blocked by Kamagum.
Great hustle by Kamagum to get back in the play. Return to sender.
Saunders launches. No. Mikel Murray with the rebound. Junior from the Bronx, but played junior college ball in Kansas the last 2 years. Most of that noise you're hearing, by the way, that's the Toledo bench, and that is what Todd Kowalczyk wants. He would like his team to be the most active and noisy bench in the country. Beechler, a misfire on the 3. Mikel Murray, though, so active underneath, able to lay it in.
He was active hands. That looked like a clean rebound by Toledo, but the active hands knocked the ball loose. And Murray picked it up between 2 Toledo Rockets and got the offensive rebound put back.
And there's an offensive foul away from the ball. That's on Kamagum. Been an entertaining start to this one. There's Ralph Bissaint knocking down a 3. Toledo a 2-point lead midway through the first.
So they'll be coming in here to Savage Arena on Saturday afternoon, so that'll be another big ball game.
Can't wait for that. That was a game that the Golden Flashes led by 21 at halftime. Had to hang on late to get the W. There's Trevon Broadway out of the timeout into the lane. That's great hands by Ryan Rollins to disrupt. Bissaint misses the 3, and you're going to get a foul on Mikel Miller battling for the rebound with Spencer Littleson.
Yeah, Spencer Littleson understands long shot, long rebound. He's on the weak side, did a good job being undersized, got contact with Murray, and able to get the over the back call. If there's no contact there, Murray's going to be able to go up top and get it. But because of the contact, you'll get the call.
Well, starting to say, kind of ironic, we talked about Central Michigan shooting fewer 3s this year. Well, 11 of their first 20 shots of this game have been from beyond the arc. There's a missed 3 from Seth Milner. It was tapped out by Littleson for the Rockets to reset. Ryan Rollins has the keys to the offense when Marion Jackson is on the bench. Shot clock down to 6. Saunders looking for driving space. There's a quick pass, zipped into J.T. Shoemake. He has 6 points.
Nice job, Keyshawn Saunders keeping his head up. Didn't have anywhere to go along that sideline and baseline, but kept his head up, found Shoemake cutting to the rim. He was able to find him.
The lob inside, kind of a lackadaisical pass, and Milner saw it coming. He will rise up from the free throw line, miss everything. Rollins, though, with the offensive rebound and stick back. Yeah, Keno Davis did not like that.
No, he did not, but good read by Ryan Rollins, cutting along the baseline, saw the ball's going to be short, attacked it, got it, put it up and down for Toledo.
How is on in the season? The Xavier Invitational. Got a couple of double-doubles this year. Had the game-winning bucket in the final 30 seconds at Kent State a few weeks back. A thrilling 84-82 win. Yeah,
and he also, his ability to drive the ball as well and create. Again, it frees up, Marion Jackson on the perimeter. It also frees up Spencer Littleson on the perimeter. And, and he can score multiple ways. It's a great addition.
It was Littleson who forced that turnover. Milner couldn't do anything with it underneath. Will stay with Toledo. Neither team has shot the three well so far. Central Michigan 2 of 11, Toledo 2 of 8, which is a bit of a surprise. 6 of their last 7 games, they've made at least 10 threes. Their shoemate, that's an old man at the Y kind of a bucket.
Yeah, trying to go middle. The defense cuts off his initial drive, and to be able to spin, the body balance to hang in the air to get it off the high glass. It's a little Larry Bird-esque.
Trevon Broadway hits the jumper. Don't let JT Shoemate know that you said that. Might go to his head, comparing him to Larry Bird.
I said esque.
I'm not sure JT talks trash quite like
I just
Larry
hope
Bird
JT
did.
knows who Larry Bird is. I mean, I do. You do. But, you know, there's an age gap between us and them.
Son of a high school coach, I assume he does. Transfer from Walsh University. He was the GMAC Conference Freshman of the Year down in Division II a couple of years back. In fact, he visited campus in the summertime while Todd Kowalczyk was at their lake house up in Michigan. So the Shoemate family was on campus for the tour, and Todd gave them a little virtual tour via FaceTime. What's this building? Here's what that is.
Technology at its finest. And honestly, that's what in the past offseason with the pandemic, a lot of recruiting has been obviously digital, you know, through Zoom and FaceTimes. And oh, nice pass. Oh, almost thread the needle there to Mattia Kunzo, Marion Jackson. But coaching staffs and teams all across the country have had to make that adjustment. And we just saw with pro football, they're not going to have the combine in Indianapolis, so they're not going to be able to work guys out at their facilities. So it's just something that they're, I guess you look at the positive is they've had one whole off season to deal with it. Now you're used to it. You make adjustments and move on.
Marion Jackson clangs a three. Caleb Huffman races the other way. Oh, what a move to skip around Marion Jackson and score.
Yeah, the quickness, you said it, to split the defenders and get it up and in. That's where Central Michigan's at their best. Off a make or miss, push the basketball, get numbers, and finish at the rim.
Here's Littleson. Nope. 2 of 10 from 3 to start for Toledo. That's Mikkel Murray underneath. Not a whole lot Spencer Littleson could do about it.
No, but again, the ability to get in transition, that's what they want to do. It's what they're really good at, but you don't have to guard. You don't have to play against Toledo's 5-on-5 defense when you get in transition or semi-transition and get those point-blank looks at the rim.
Rollins rising up, way off the mark. Little mini 6-0 spurt for Central Michigan. A 9-0 spurt for Central Michigan. That's Lane's first point.
41% three-point shooter. It's only his 12th make of the season, so very efficient when Devontae Lane rises up behind the long line.
Rollins driving, spinning, scooping, and scoring. That's what the freshman can do.
That's what he can do, is he breaks you down off the dribble. But man, to go up on the left side to scoop and have enough English on the basketball to get it up and down from the right side, very impressive.
Tamakunzo will try and stick a little bit closer to Devontae Lane. He'll launch again. Missed it. An offensive rebound, though, for the bouncy Trevon Broadway Jr. Ends up in the hands of Spencer Littleson. Here's Milner to Akunzo. Blocked from behind by Mohammed, but he smashed right into him. And Mattia Akunzo, the redshirt freshman from Italy, will shoot 2 free throws when we come back. It's close. Late in the first half here at Savage Arena. It usually is when these two get together. Back in a moment.
To all areas on the court at all times. He has that in Broadway, and he says Broadway is also an extension of him on the floor. Broadway is the coach when he's out there. Mason?
Danny, thank you. Trevon Broadway got a career high last time out, 25 points, also 5 steals in their 11-point win over Eastern Michigan on Saturday. That's A lane violation on the missed free throw. It's a tale as old as time, isn't it? Mattia Okunzo, a 50% three-point shooter, also 50% at the free throw line.
Yeah, it's something he definitely has to get better at, because with his ability to score in different ways, he's gonna get contact. He's gonna have to get to the line and make teams pay for putting him there.
Matt Beechler, the only four-year player in the Central Michigan program, redshirted last year because there were so many guards playing ahead of him. He led the scout team. Davis has said he did it exceptionally well. Going back and averaging 7 points, 2.5 rebounds a game, and shooting 40% from the outside. Here is Keyshawn Saunders. Toledo cannot buy a three right now, just 2 of 11. And you made the point to me during the break, normally when Toledo does miss, they're missing off by just a little bit. The Rockets right now missing left, right, and long as the Chippewas turn it over. That's Caleb Huffman.
If there's anything, this isn't going to make a lot of sense. That was a better miss. It was right on. It was on line. It just rattled in and out. But a lot of their shots have been right and left misses here this evening. So perhaps they're rushing just a little bit. Going to take their time, continue to do what they've done all year long, is utilize both sides of the floor, ball movement inside out, quick reversals, dribble, penetrate, and kick, and free up your teammates. And once one or two goes down, usually they come in bunches for Toledo.
JT Shoemate from the outside, that's way off. Ralph Besaith goes down, so does Saunders. Stay with the Rockets. Rollins and Milner will return.
Bodies hitting the floor hard. They're good to see everybody's okay.
It's been a really intense first 15 minutes. Rollins tries a long two and gets it to go.
Ryan Rollins was the inbounder on that play. Lobs it to Cedric Miller, and he comes off a double screen on the backside. Got freed up. Good footwork, knocked down the mid-range jump shot.
P.J. Mitchell, redshirt sophomore from Detroit. Is Devontae Lane's back up. There's Broadway. Got into the body of Littleson and drew the foul.
Good drive by Broadway. Defense is playing you tight. You got the dribble. Use it. Got the ball that we can. You said got the contact from Littleson.
Lane back in. Muhammad goes out. Central Michigan a little Eastern Michigan-esque in the sense that they get a ton of steals. In fact, they have 5 guys that have at least 20 on the year. Broadway is one of them, and now he's got 9 points as well.
A little miscommunication defensively there by Toledo. Clean cut right down the lane, unguarded.
Rollins and Shoemate have led the way so far. They each have 8 points. Here's Saunders, open from the outside. And a run down to the corner by Mikel Murray. Saunders has missed his first 3 from long range. That's Murray, contested shot. Great defense by Toledo. And Rollins racing back the other way. He goes right at Devontae Lane and scores.
I don't know if he's going to have enough to get the ball over the rim. Looks like he didn't get the lift that he would normally get, and they had enough spin on it to get it up and in.
Ryan Rollins has a knack for hanging up in the air just a little bit longer to get off shots that other guys might not. Rollins, they hand off to JT Shoemate.
Yeah, good job, dribble penetration. It's transition, so any kind of attacking the rim, the defense is going to collapse quickly. And good job by Shoemate running the floor, got rewarded for it.
Lane right at Shoemate, not only denies him, but then taps it to Rollins to start the break. That is Spencer Littleson. Milner following up, counted in the foul.
Toledo turning the tables on Central Michigan. Usually it's the Chippewas who like to get out and run. The last 2 possessions has been the Rockets. Ryan Rollins on the finish. Toledo up 8 in the Glass City. For an opportunity to 3-point play here, and It's kind of funny. You talked about Central Michigan's ability to get to the free throw line. They have not been able to do that. So I'm sure if you said to Keno Davis before the game, hey, at the 3:02 mark in the first half, you haven't shot a free throw yet. He's like, that's not good. And I think Coach Kowalczyk, same thing. He said, hey, you're 2 for 13 from the arc. You're like, you might not like the result. But so far, those things have materialized, and we got a competitive ball game here.
Lane almost dragged the pivot foot. Instead, he had his pocket picked by Spencer Littleson.
Spencer Littleson.
Not just a three-point shooter, and then he plowed straight through Devontae Lane.
Well, on the steal and score, Spencer Littleson, you don't see that for him to be able to get all the way up and finish it with authority. Here, you get up, hammers it down, but then on the way back, gets tied up there with Devontae Lane. And obviously there's contact there. I don't know if it's deliberate.
I'm not sure he realized that Lane was that close to him. It's one step after getting up along the baseline. Ed Phillips, Brian McNutt, Jeff Spadowski, our officials, are talking about it at center court.
Sure, they're going to go take a look at it, obviously. See what they come up with.
I see Todd Kowalczyk. I think he's making the same point to Ed Phillips that I did just a moment ago. I'm not sure he realized Lane was there. But Spencer Littleson is the kind of guy that gets under opponents' skin.
You love him as a teammate. He
hate him as an opponent.
He is the leader of this. He's one of the leaders of this basketball team. A vocal leader, guy holds guys accountable. In addition to himself, he keeps guys loose. And he's just one of those guys. He's going to take the best guard on the opposing team most nights. He's going to hound you all over the floor. He's going to leave it on the floor. He's going to leave skin on the floor. He does all the intangibles that you want as a defender. And then obviously we talked about his ability to knock down the three as well. Great teammate. And he's sitting right there. He's on the bench looking like I just turned and took one hard step, but we had contact. He was right there, and I couldn't avoid him. We'll see what the referees think.
Ed Phillips, the one facing the camera, I mentioned this right at the top, is from Toledo. Some of these commutes in the Mid-American Conference can be kind of a pain. This is an easy one for him.
Been one of my referees in the past, refereeing high school games, years ago. And tell you one thing he's great at is he doesn't get rattled during a game, doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. And as a coach, what I appreciated was he communicated. He communicated with coaches. He let you have your piece and let you have your say, and he would come back and explain, and that's all you can ask for.
Well, judging by Todd Kowalczyk's reaction, I wonder if Central Michigan might be shooting free throws here, and indeed they will. So it's a flagrant one on Spencer Littleson. I'm not sure I agree with that, Rhett.
I don't know. It's one of those things. It's a judgment. It's a judgment call, and you just got to go with that. And obviously, if you're Central Michigan, you understand the call. And if you're Coach Todd Kowalczyk, you don't. I thought that on the dunk, it's a one step, and Lane's coming to take the ball out of bounds or to receive the inbounds pass, and Central's taking one step back. There's contact. It easily could have been called the basketball play. The refs chose to call it what they did. You just got to adjust and move forward.
Those are Central Michigan's first free throws of the game. Here's the Littleson transition jump. And then bounces off of or goes through Devontae Lane, depending on how you look at it.
There's contact, and I think what maybe caught the official's attention is Spencer extended a little bit. And I don't think it was by any intent, by any means, but I think
bracing yourself for contact at the last moment.
And then you extend a little bit, and I think maybe that's what they thought was a deciding factor. I don't know. We're up here in the concourse area. We can't get an explanation. Just got to go with it and adjust, move forward if you're Toledo.
Mikael Murray knifing quickly through the Toledo defense, and then Malik Muhammad denying Shoemate at the other end. Malik Muhammad, that's a big dude, 6'9", 235 from Los Angeles. One of his junior college coaches, Kenneth Hunter out west, is from Detroit. He said Malik Muhammad is a PSL player, meaning Detroit's Public School League. big and very tough. That pass to the perimeter was picked off by Lane. Toledo's fourth first half turnover. A long two, not there for Murray. The putback there for Mohammed.
Yeah, unable to secure the ball defensively there for Toledo. Got batted around right into the hands of Muhammad. I think we hear
unanswered points from Central Michigan, starting with the two flagrant free throws.
Yeah, I think with Coach Kowalczyk, I think we'll hear from him, coming out of halftime or at halftime, that defensive rebounds got to be better for his team on that end of the floor. Nice job by Rollins.
Ryan Rollins there, giving Central Michigan a dose of their own medicine. And that's going the other way.
Off the ball foul, and referees were able to catch it. Coach Kowalczyk was all over it.
Todd doesn't miss a thing.
No, the referees, they're probably telling him, we don't need your help either.
That's the second foul on Muhammad.
And they're going to take a look at this as well. Referees doing a good job here. They want to keep things, they want to make sure that things are under control and this thing doesn't get too chippy. Especially here in the first half. And you want competitive, hard-nosed play, but you also want to keep it within the framework, of the ball game. So they're going to do their best to keep a lid on things and see what they come up with here.
Two teams split their season series last year. Central Michigan came here and won in January. Toledo went up to Mount Pleasant and won late in the year. That was that game that saw Marion Jackson go off for 37 points. I feel like most years we expect this game to be a track meet, and most years it isn't. Last year when Central came here, the final was 74-67.
Yeah, it's one of those games like kind of in that where Toledo was in a little bit of a swoon from a win-loss standpoint during that time, and just one of those things, they just couldn't get over the hump. They were playing hard, just having trouble just finishing games at the end. And well, man, they caught fire at the end of the season, and one of the hottest teams in the conference. We're in the semifinals of the MAC tournament before things were shut down. And Coach Davis right now for Central Michigan, got to like your team's effort. They've been very active defensively. They've been active on the offensive backboard as well, and consequently, you're right. You're within a couple possessions here late in the first half against a Toledo team that's played awfully well all season long.
That was so painful last year, seeing the MAC tournament shut down when it was, as all of college basketball came to a grinding halt, seeing both the Toledo men and Toledo women playing really good basketball. The women, of course, upset Central Michigan in the 1-8 matchup that started that quarterfinal day. And you're thinking, well, who knows, maybe both teams can get to the NCAA tournament. In the end, nobody did. There was a flagrant called on Malik Muhammad after the video review, so each team with a first half flagrant. That was Muhammad's second foul, and it's worth noting Central Michigan came into this season with plenty of front court depth, and that depth has been cut in half. Braden Burke, a transfer from Michigan State, has opted out of the season, and Andre Polk, who has started 7 games for them at the 5 spot, has missed the last 5. Shoemate not close on the second free throw. That's the only thing that hasn't gone JT Shoemate's way in this first half. He's been terrific with 11 points and a couple of blocks. Toledo is led by as many as 11 points. And there's Trevon Broadway jumping the pass. Littleson back, doesn't want to contest too much and pick up a second foul.
Did a good job. Sergeant Littleson tried to post him up and hold him off there at the high post area on the entry pass, and Broadway just fought his way around, got a hand on it, and got going the other way.
Shoemate with Lane on him. Marion Jackson is open from the outside, and Shoemate got a hand on that, was able to get it to Milner, and Lane tried to rip it away and gets called for the foul.
Active hands by Lane, got caught there, but active hands by the Chippewas defensively. They are outstanding in terms of turning teams over. in the Mid-American Conference. We talked about it. They had 27 points on 19 Eastern Michigan turnovers over the weekend. Very opportunistic.
Seth Milner's 64% from the line this year, misses the first. Inside the final minute of play in the first half. Broadway having a good and efficient half for Central Michigan. 5 of 8 shooting, 11 points. That's Huffman off the bounce. Long rebound ends up with Marion Jackson. Marion, an NBA three, in and out. Shoemate tried to pull it down. The arrow will keep it with Toledo.
Shot clock's reset to 20, so a 4.5-second differential.
And now Todd Kowalczyk will use a timeout, draw something up here at the end of the half. JT
off a year last year where he wasn't able to play, and JT Shoemate's been filling it admirably.
We're so fond of that line that Jeff Massey has, Toledo's lead assistant coach. There's only 2 positions in this game: on the court, on the bench. And he has found a way to stay on the court, learning a new position on the fly. Marion Jackson will push that to the corner. That's Ryan Rollins. First 3 in a long time for the Rockets. And what a time for it right before halftime. Lane at the buzzer. Cannot answer, did not get a friendly bounce.
Good job out of the timeout by Coach Kowalczyk. Marion Jackson, the dribble drive. Defense sucks over hard.
Toledo's defense and get to the free throw line will be the X factor here. Mason?
Danny, thank you. Rhett, who do you think that X factor might be?
Well, I think Devontae Lane, is one of the guys had success against Toledo in the past. And I think, Caleb Huffman, he's a double-digit scorer coming off that bench. And, right now he's got 2 points. So I think those guys you can look at as guys that can play major minutes. That has the ability to step up and break the defense down and make shots and get to the free throw line and create for their teammates.
Matt Beechler with a miss from 3. Marion Jackson couldn't get back up the floor with it. Trevon Broadway Jr. was the standout for Central Michigan in the first half with 11 points. He's a guy that can score at all levels, though this is what he is best at, getting to the rim. Couldn't finish there, but the tip goes. Give that to Mikkel Murray. He's got 10 points and 8 rebounds, closing in on a double-double.
And that's what Coach Kowalczyk talked about going in the half. We got to do a better job of limiting offensive rebounds. And there, not only was there an offensive rebound, it was 2 points for the Chippewas.
Ryan Rollins stepped up when some other guys were struggling offensively for Toledo, and one of those guys that was struggling, Marion Jackson, just now 1 of 6 shooting. Just 3 points. That's Muhammad and Littleson getting tangled up, and that's big because that's 3 on Malik Muhammad.
Yeah, Spencer Littleson, good job trying to front the post, get in position. And the ref is telling Coach Keno Davis it was the extended. Let's see on the inside there. There, he hooked his arm. Looks like, he hooked his arm. That's what the referee called. Hard to see there on that angle. He's going to have to sit now with 3 fouls. Take some of that size off the floor, which is so good. We talked about on the offensive backboard for Central Michigan.
Some added athleticism, though, as Ralph Besaith comes in. Seth Milner, he struggled too before halftime. Just 1 of 7 from the floor. Trying to back his way in on Besaith. That's Milner with a strength advantage and a nice finish off the window, just like we saw from JT Shoemate before halftime.
Well, that's a move they've been working on in practice. JT Shoemate, like you said, now Cedric Milner. Low post guys. Little finesse, little footwork. Getting it done.
Seth Milner, Todd Kowalczyk says about him, he never has a bad day, though he maybe wasn't too keen on that. He picks up the foul.
I think that's what Central Michigan has to do. Their game is drive the ball. Drive the ball, collapse defenses, finish at the rim, kick out for some open looks, and get to the free throw line. And that's something that's been very beneficial to them throughout the season. But right now, they've only been there twice in this ballgame. Or he got there once for 2 free throws.
Yeah, Spencer Littleson got Trevon Broadway on the wrist. Spencer doesn't think so. But the replay will tell us one way or the other. I think he did catch him on the wrist.
Let's take a look here. It might be just more or less, maybe I got it clean, but on the follow-through, may have knocked forearm to forearm, but referee made the call. Central Michigan back to the free throw line. Broadway, 71% on the season from the charity stripe.
This is a Central Michigan team that in their last 3 games attempted an astronomical 101 free throws, including 41 in a 9-point loss to Kent State. That was a tie game with 5 minutes left, and then Kent State went on a 10-0 run to take command down the stretch. Of course, the trouble for Central Michigan is they are not a good free throw shooting team, just 63%. That's second worst in the conference. Rollins, the mid-range game of his has been really good this evening. Came up empty there, but it will stay with Toledo out of bounds. Rollins, 15 points. His career high, we mentioned in the first half, is 20. Marion Jackson, that first step is so quick. He's able to get around Mikel Murray, and maybe that will get him going.
Got to the strong hand, no help from the Chippewas, and got a clean look. One of the rare clean looks Marion Jackson's got this afternoon or this evening.
Beechler, someone else that could maybe be the X factor for Central Michigan, a 40% three-point shooter. Besafe, he traveled. Central Michigan's 11th turnover.
JT Shoemate moved his feet laterally, and Besafe spin back into the help of Spencer Littleson, forcing the shuffle the feet, rushed him a little bit. For Toledo, this lead's going to hover around that 7-9 point mark, and they would love, I'm sure, to get double digits and see if they can extend this here in the early part of the second half.
Jackson, yes. Just Toledo's 4th 3 of the night. They're 4 of 17. Marion Jackson with 5 quick points for Toledo, and Mikel Murray gets 2 points right back.
Yeah, good job by Murray. You said it, the answer, coming right back, answering with the bucket, keeping his team within reach.
Rollins, got it. He has been so efficient, 8 of 11 from the floor, Ryan Rollins, the freshman from Macomb, Dakota High School. It was wanted by just about everybody in the MAC, and we kind of had a chuckle when Rob Murphy told Danny Rogers before Toledo played Eastern Michigan last week that he wasn't sure that Ryan Rollins would play early on at Eastern Michigan. I think the way he's gone this year, he'd find a spot for him. It was Broadway knocking down that 3. Jackson on the cut, fouled from behind by Lane. Marion Jackson to the free throw line. When we come back, he is starting to heat up. A couple of buckets from him to start the second half. The Toledo lead is 10. They'll try to extend it when we come back. Talked with some coaches around the league, and Steve Hawkins, too, the longtime Western Michigan coach who's now in broadcasting. Everybody in the MAC wanted Ryan Rollins. The thought initially was that maybe he doesn't always look like he's going really hard. It's just he's a guy whose expression doesn't really change. He plays with tremendous fire. Todd Kowalczyk saw that right away, and that, in part, I'm sure is why he's here.
Well, one of the things when you're recruiting mid-major basketball is sometimes it's hard to get a gauge on guys. Hey, everybody can spot the 5-star guy that's going to go to a Power 5, but the other guys, and obviously he was highlighted by the Mid-American Conference teams. Everybody wanted him, but maybe it's like, how soon can he play? And like you said, and he's got a very calm demeanor, and sometimes people might look at that as, are you playing hard type thing, like you said. And here's the thing, what I know is sometimes the great athletes make it look so easy sometimes maybe it appears that way to some, and some coaches have this philosophy. They look when they break you down and they evaluate you, they look at what you can't do. Some coaches look at what you can do, and they go. And Todd Kowalczyk certainly a guy that he's going to evaluate the total product, but you know if you can play, you can play, and it was a great get for the University of Toledo.
Saunders and Akunzo out there for Toledo. Here is Saunders driving, got his man up in the air, and then Malik Muhammad got him. Luckily for Central Michigan, that's going to go on Caleb Huffman. Had that been called on Muhammad, it would have been number 4.
Nice job. That's a good job of Keyshawn Saunders. We talked throughout the season. Predominantly a catch and shoot guy. I mean, last year here against Central Michigan, Keyshawn Saunders had 18 points. A lot of that from behind the 3-point line, and for him this year, what we've seen like on that play, the ability to recognize that teams are going to run him off the arc. You have to be able to put the ball on the floor and be able to create and make plays, and that's a great example there of how his game has evolved from one year to the next.
He's making more of an impact now when he isn't scoring, and in this game, he's 0 of 4 from the floor. He's missed all 3 threes he's attempted. He's made just a single free throw, but he's finding ways to have an impact. He's making winning plays. There's Muhammad on the inside. That swirls out.
It's going to be Toledo basketball. I think they thought the ball hit Mikal Murray. I believe it was Mikal Murray. He stepped on the end line. See his foot out of bounds, and it hits him there. That's what the referee called. Ball over to Toledo, even though they were able to secure the possession anyway.
Junzo waited for Marianne Jackson to come out to execute the handoff. Saunders will drive as Huffman came out, and that's picked off by Broadway. And Broadway around Marianne Jackson concedes the bucket.
Nice job by Broadway, recognizing where Keyshawn Saunders wanted to go on the kick out. Get the passing lane and get going the other way.
A Littleson miss in transition, and it's Central Michigan basketball. You can live with Trevon Broadway Jr. hitting his average, and he has already. He averages 16.8. He's got 18. The key is keeping everybody else under their averages.
And Broadway gets his points too. So a little bit from the 3-point line, driving the ball to the rim, but he creates, it's his defense too. His ability, like that last possession to steal and score, his ability to read and react, and and where the ball is going to be kicked out to get out and running. Nice job there. That's big boy basketball down there, going up, hanging in the air, getting contact and finishing. See Trevon Broadway here. It beats Keyshawn Saunders off the dribble, takes the bump on the hip from Saunders, and up top from Akunzo, and able to finish.
That is the one thing you'd like to see Keyshawn Saunders eradicate from his game a little bit. He has been somewhat foul prone this year. Remember that Friday night emphatic win on national TV over Ohio. He picked up 3 before halftime. Jackson couldn't drive because Broadway was there to help out. That means Saunders is open for 3. And Rollins rising for the follow. He has matched his career high with 20 points.
Long shots, long rebounds. And Toledo there, Ryan Rollins sprinted to the weak side after Keyshawn Saunders miss. Got the putback.
Lane has had a pretty quiet game all told, just 5 points and 3 assists, and right on cue he flips one in.
He heard you.
See, and Dallas Morgan, who were very good in the second half last year when Central Michigan came here and won. Top 4 scorers on last year's Central Michigan team have all graduated. David DeLeo, Dallas Morgan, Kevin McKay, Rob Montgomery. Broadway the other way was a bit part player on last year's team. He's had to step up in a big way this year, which he has. He was tripped there by Rollins.
Spencer Littleson back in the ballgame for Keyshawn Saunders. Tough couple of possessions for Saunders.
And Spencer Littleson, a guy that never backs away from a challenge. He comes in, announces, "I got 0." So he's going to be locked up with Trevon Broadway Jr. That's Ralph Besaith back out there. Freshman year he spent at UIC, then went back closer to home, played at Florida Southwestern. He's from Miami originally. There is Besaith from the corner, wouldn't drop. Jackson dislodged that from Muhammad.
A good job by Jackson crashing down to give, I think it was Akunzo, give him some help on the defensive glass.
Foul was before the shot. That's Matt Beechler down in a heap. Keno Davis will come out to check on him. We're wondering if he might have taken a shot to the jaw right there. We'll step away with 12:20 left. Matt Beechler down for Central Michigan. Jackson's arm and Beechler's face did not call anything. Here is Marion Jackson. Deep three wouldn't go. And that stays with Toledo. Marion Jackson, 10 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. He was a rebound away from a triple-double at Akron. He had 23, 10 assists and 9 boards. Jackson again. This one again doesn't go, and Muhammad comes up with the board. He hasn't exactly been efficient scoring the last couple of games, Marion. He was 2 of 9 from 3 at Akron. He's 2 of 8 so far tonight.
And that's the beauty of this basketball team for Toledo this year. Last year, you had to rely on him to get you 20 to 35, to have a chance to win. And with more weapons this year offensively, he can have maybe an off night, and you're still just fine offensively.
Broadway fouled by Milner before the shot.
Central Michigan, a lot of credit hanging around here in this ball game. They're just a couple possessions away from making this a 2-possession ball game, and we'll see how they react. Their energy on the defensive end, their length and athleticism has not made it easy for Toledo here this evening.
Both of their wins in the MAC have come against Eastern Michigan. Some of their losses, you look up and down their schedule. Western Michigan beat them by 15 as Littleson cans the corner 3. Played back-to-back games against Bowling Green, lost one 90 to 69, the other 93-65. In fact, they had 3 straight losses, the 2 against Bowling Green and the 1 against Kent State. But they gave up at least 90 in each game. They have fought really hard in this one. And Keno Davis, that's a carry on Devontae Lane. He's made a point of saying throughout this year, I think this team has a chance to be good. It's just that it might take a while before we're one cohesive unit.
Yeah, I think he's got some pieces, I think, for sure. You got length, you got size and length on the inside to be able to score and defend at a high level. You got great athleticism on the perimeter as well to stop the dribble drive. I think you just, maybe you want to add, we talked about their 3-point shooting, probably looking for a guy or 2 there that can maybe extend the floor for you a little bit, but they're close. I think they are close, and we'll see if it's anybody within their current roster or if through recruiting they're able to add some of those pieces moving forward.
Ralph Besaith was called for the foul there. Both he and Keno Davis wanted a hold to be called on Toledo, a hook and hold, and I believe we might have another trip to the monitor. We've had our fair share of those tonight.
Yeah, the hook and hold has been a point of emphasis, something they're trying to wean out of the game of basketball.
Watches Besaith fights through. Yes, Marion Jackson, does he hold him long enough?
Well, he's reaching over the top, got his arm draped around Marion Jackson's chest area there. Marion is reaching out to hold on, and we'll see if they think it was deliberate enough to warrant the hook and hold call or not.
such a difficult loss for Toledo at Akron on Saturday, 95-94 in overtime. Todd Kowalczyk called that a really high-level basketball game and one of the most entertaining that he's been a part of as a head coach. We touched on it in the open. I know you talked to them yesterday. You've got the sense that they've allowed that loss to just roll right off their backs.
That's a sign of a mature team. I mean, you recognize the fact that we played pretty well, and we really did. Yeah, but we didn't win. Yeah, that's part of the game. And I think as a mature team, you understand that. And you understand, and obviously you're not going to look at it with blinders and say, oh, everything was sunshine and roses. I mean, there's always spots in the game where you'd like to have back, but in totality, it was a great basketball team between two great teams, and and whoever had the ball last was going to probably come away with the win in that one, and it certainly was the case. And you chalk it up. It's a long season. You're going to have games like that where you're going to be on the right side of it. You're going to have games like that where you're on the wrong side of it. Case in point, go back to Kent State a couple weeks ago. You were able to come away with a 2-point victory after trailing with a minute to go. So, you just, like you said, a mature team chalks it up, learn from it, move on. Because every game of this conference is tough, and if you're dwelling on the past, you're not focused on the present. It can come back to get you.
Keno Davis, I don't think, is too pleased that call did indeed go against Ralph Besaid after the review. Littleson has his second in a row from that spot.
Yeah, he's heating up right now. It's his third triple of the evening. Good find by Cedric Milner. Good unselfish play because he could have went up in traffic and tried to score himself. Good answer on this end of the floor. Broadway, we talked about it, the ability to shoot the three, drive it. That time low post action by Zero in maroon and gold.
You're Spencer Littleson. You can't do much more than that, can you, in that situation?
No, I mean, he got low. You saw on that post-entry catch, he got low and wide and had Spencer locked out. You just try to go vertical if you're Spencer Littleson, but got too much contact. And Broadway made you pay. What a night for him, 24, to piggyback off of that 25 performance you mentioned earlier against Eastern Michigan in their last ball game.
He's got 24, but no one else has more than 12 for Central Michigan. That's Mikel Murray. Milner off the feed from Littleson. Wouldn't go, and Shoemate couldn't keep it alive. Devontae Lane, long, it was a line drive, and Littleson, from his seat, flips that to Rollins. Central Michigan bench wanted to travel, they didn't get it. Marion Jackson. Keno Davis on the verge of a technical.
Tell you what, I want to see a replay of that. Spencer Littleson, that was like a slot receiver going across the middle and pick one off the turf on that last rebound. Just great effort by 11. In white, it constituted a three-point play, a three-point shot made on the other end.
Milner with a block to deny Murray. And here's Rollins at the other end. Count it, and one more coming. He was fouled by Caleb Huffman.
Toledo getting a stop, getting out in transition. Ryan Rollins now at 22. You see nice lead pass by Marion Jackson. Rollins, the concentration, the elevation to the line for an old-fashioned three-point opportunity.
Toledo shooting a more Toledo-esque 56% so far in the second half, 5 of 9 from 3. Rollins missing the free throw, scrapped to win it back but couldn't. And Murray scores with Milner and Saunders around him.
Up 14, Coach Kowalczyk decides to give Marion Jackson a breather.
Akunzo can't connect. This is where Devontae Lane is at his most dangerous. Puts his head down, drives, can't finish. Akunzo defended against him. This is Broadway again. Huffman jumps into a three. Tip to Rollins by Saunders. Ryan Rollins so smooth in the open floor. And that's going to go on Huffman, I believe, as he pulled down Milner.
Good job by Toledo in semi-transition there. Good spacing, good unselfish play. Moving the basketball, you see here, Milner going up strong, getting the contact across the shoulder. Gets to the line.
We'll shoot free throws when we come back. Keno Davis has called a timeout. 8:33 to play here at Savage Arena. The Rockets up by 14. Toledo offense on its way. That was one of several calls or non-calls that have drawn the ire of Keno Davis in this second half. Didn't get the hook and hold on Marion Jackson a few minutes earlier. Wanted a travel to be called there, and it wasn't. Seth Milner at the line. And Milner now with 7 points. He averages 13.6 per game, along with the team high 7 rebounds. A whistle off the ball on Ryan Rollins. Been a lot of fouls in the second half. That's the 8th called on Toledo. The Rockets themselves also in the bonus. Malik Muhammad at the line, just 59%. Had a really good game against Kent State in that 9-point loss. 17 points, 11 rebounds. Went 9 of 9 from the free throw line. Then went out in their next game and was just 1 of 6 against Eastern Michigan. And he's 1 of 2 there, almost banked in the second one. That's Murray getting up for the offensive rebound, and Muhammad able to score. That's a 3-point possession for him.
Yeah, good tenacity there by the Chippewas. Now a little full court pressure here, trying to speed Toledo up, especially with Marion Jackson on the bench. Now they're trying to play keep away, trying to keep the ball. They're mirroring Ryan Rollins, trying to prevent him from getting the basketball on the return pass. Results in a turnover, and here comes real quickly Marion Jackson. Todd Kowalczyk not happy.
JT Shoemate back in also. I want to go back to Malik Muhammad for a moment. He's not exactly a typical Keno Davis 5-man, is he?
No, he's not. He's a guy got some great length, got some good strength. We talked about it. He's got a great high motor that he plays with here. So if you can play, you can bring something to the team that maybe they don't normally have, maybe in years past, you'll find your way on the floor.
Lane twisting, turning. That's the 3rd block of the night for JT Shoemate. And Saunders down the lane with ease.
Yeah, good explosion to the rim. Keyshawn Saunders, the defense fanned out to take the arc away. Nobody there at the rim.
And Murray scores at the other end quickly, despite the best efforts of Shoemate.
That's where they're so good in transition, not just off a make, but it's off the opponent's, not it's off a miss, but the opponent's make as well. Getting down to the floor quick.
Kunzo came out to set a screen for Marion Jackson. Won't be able to get the shot up. He'll try and drive on Murray. Shot clock winding down. Milner won't get it off in time.
Tia Kunzo did a lot of good work getting the ball down in the middle of the lane. Could have put it up and in. The result, we have a shot clock violation.
7 minutes left here at Savage Arena. Keno Davis and his crew trying to come back down 13.
Really has, but give Broadway and Murray a lot of credit, exceeding their averages, trying to keep their team within this one.
Broadway with 24, Murray 16 and 9 rebounds. Broadway again. Muhammad keeping it alive on the offensive glass, goes up on Shoemate and scores. That cuts it down to 11.
Out battle Seth Milner, and then you said the outstretched arms of the long JT Shoemate. Very impressive by Muhammad underneath.
Toledo beating the press. Shoemate back to Littleson, couldn't get a shot up. Marion Jackson will drive. Here comes Shoemate, got Muhammad up in the air. And here comes Devontae Lane in Central Michigan. This is Murray, blocked by Milner out of bounds.
Good recovery by Seth Milner there. If you're Central Michigan, if you're going to make a run to get back in this ball game, this is the time to do it. See Murray outstretched, Milner coming across the lane, getting a piece of it. Allows Toledo defense to set up in a 5-on-5 fashion. See if the Chippewas have an answer.
Ryan Rollins back in, so is Ralph Bissett. That's Beechler, but a really rough night for him offensively. He's 0 of 7 from the floor. Murray hasn't exactly been a rough night for him. Give him 18 points.
Back to 2-2-1 pressure here.
Murray's 18 matches a career high set against both Western and Eastern Michigan. Jackson, tough angle. Broadway pulls down the rebound. Central Michigan a 6-0 run to stay within shouting distance. That's Lane through contact. Rollins with the rebound. 22 points and 7 boards. There he slipped it to Milner and he was fouled.
They got away with that. A good idea, but it was a bounce pass in traffic. Fortunately, Milner's good hands. I had a little more space than maybe it looked like from our vantage point. Devontae Lane coming over late, getting Milner on the arm. Good unselfish play by Ryan Rollins. And you had an amazing stat about the number of assists, or the percentage of baskets come off of assists for Toledo.
62%.
That's really good.
Of Toledo's made baskets have been assisted this year. Missed the second free throw, but JT Shoemate with the offensive rebound. There's Milner back to work and back to the free throw line ultimately. Tonight, by the way, 16 assists on 27 made baskets. I'm not great at doing division in my head. That should be close to 62%.
Well, they got calculators on iPhones.
I was going to say, who needs to be good at doing math in your head when you have a phone with a calculator on it? It's 59%. First free throw goes for Seth Milner, the well-traveled Seth Milner, originally from Little Rock, Arkansas, played high school basketball up in Grand Rapids. Freshman year of college was at Cleveland State, sophomore year at Northwest Florida State, junior year at Toledo. This guy that had Division I college looks to play wide receiver. And Muhammad blocked by Shoemate. He's got another one that matches his Division I high with 4. He had 4 against Ohio earlier in Mid-American Conference play.
It's like a point-blank layup. Good job by Muhammad, rim running in transition. But J2 Shoemate not giving up on the play from behind. He's able to get it off the glass. So the Chippewas can retain possession. That's pretty good on both ends of the floor on that particular play.
You know, Toledo's been a team in recent years. They have really been able to protect the rim as Lane misses a three-point shot going back to when Nathan Booth was here, such a good shot blocker, and Luke Kanapke, A.J. Adu, who is going to miss his second consecutive season due to knee issues. Last year was a torn ACL, this year a torn meniscus. I was wondering who might be a rim protector this year. JT Shoemate wasn't who I was going to guess.
But he's evolving into that role. I mean, as he's getting more comfortable playing on the inside, his assertiveness and aggressiveness is picking up as well. A nice job, Marion Jackson.
A terrific lead pass for Milner, stuffed at the rim by Muhammad.
We've seen some great action on the inside here tonight. Not conceding any particular layup opportunity. They're going to overturn this call and give it to Central Michigan, but no, you just love the effort out of both clubs here on both ends of the floor. Not giving up on any points. Love it.
Timeout, Central Michigan down 14 with just over 4 to play. Really drove home just how good the middle of the pack in the MAC is this year. You're looking at teams, as of right now, Kent State, Buffalo, etc., that are right there in the middle and are absolutely going to make some noise the rest of the way.
And don't count out Ohio, because they dropped a couple games, you know, with Jason Preston's injury, and he's back now, and that's their best player, and they got pieces. So look for them to, you know, to make a push as well. And, you know, Ball State just solid every year, and, you know, it's going to be an outstanding every night. You're watching those final scores and see how the standings, you know, bump up and down throughout, and then you get in that tournament play. Whew, it's going to be a dandy.
Huffman, Lane, and Beechler have just 9 points combined. Lane 2 of 11 shooting. Huffman's 1 of 5. Beechler's 0 of 7. So while Broadway and Murray have gotten really anything and everything they've wanted offensively, they're both 9 of 15 shooting. Everybody else is having kind of a rough go of it.
They have a rough go of it, and those guys have had success because they can do it differently. They can do it in multiple ways, and you know, I think, you know, for Toledo, as much accolades as they get for their offensive prowess, like Ryan Rollins hit on the elbow there, still able to get it to go, is how good they have been defensively for the majority of the season. You know, obviously they're only giving up just under 70 points a game, which is 4th in this conference. You know, have an opportunity to keep. It's going to be a little tough here to keep Central Michigan under 70, but you know they've competed every possession on that end of the floor, and you know, give themselves a chance to maintain their lead and extend their lead at times.
Rollins extending that career high up to 25 points. Another game for Toledo, by the way, in which all 5 starters get into double figures. Rollins at 25, 13 each from Marion Jackson, JT Shoemate, 11 from Spencer Littleson, 10 for Seth Milner.
It's just great balance, and that's what they're getting. You know, 4, 5, sometimes 6 guys a night in double figures, and you know, that's when Coach Keno Davis talked about earlier about trying to find a weakness. You know, somebody might have an off night. You know, somebody might have an off night, or 2 guys will have an off night, but they got 3, 4 other weapons that can beat you on a given night, or you know, hold the fort down, you know, if you will, and that's what this makes it really tough to prepare for and guard.
Broadway ran right into Milner. Broadway got it back, couldn't score on Shoemate, but he was fouled.
I love the tenacity of Trevon Broadway. You know, on the miss, he didn't have the rebound initially and just ripped it right out of the hands of the Toledo defender, and you know, just wanted a little bit more getting to the free throw line. Love the competitive fire of Trevon Broadway.
You know, one thing you can really pick up when college basketball is played in what is basically an empty arena, you can hear defensive communication that you can't hear in a normal season, and we hear a lot of it from Toledo when they are playing well.
Yeah, exactly right, and that's what Coach Kowalczyk talked about. And is you know how locked in and engaged your team is their ability to be connected on the defensive end. Well, what allows you to be connected defensively, which means to be able to move in sync and stay in position at all 5 players on the floor, and that is their communication level.
That was cruel on Spencer Littleson to have the 3 swirl out like that. He'll get another crack at it. Wide open from the outside. That one wouldn't go either.
Too wide open, but nice job on the kick out by Ryan Rollins.
There's Mohammed with a flush.
He gets rewarded there, running the floor once again. Got a shot blocked from behind the last time. This time, doing what you should do, flush it. That ball has no chance of getting blocked.
That's a very good MAC center, Malik Mohammed. Littleson again. He loves that spot. He's hit from that left corner 3, not once, not twice, but thrice in the second half.
9 games now for Spencer Littleson, with 4 more made threes in the ball game.
Had 8 threes against both Oakland and Kent State. Both wins. You got to be awfully strong to tie up Devontae Lane.
Yeah, Marion Jackson, good job, quick hands. And we talk about Marion Jackson too, and we talked about his offensive ability, and you know how this year he's got some help more help on the offensive end. You know, where he doesn't have to get 30 a night, and he still have a chance to win the ball game. And that was sweet. But his ability, his job in the defensive end too is sometimes he gets overshadowed. His ability to guard the ball one-on-one and create tie-ups like you saw there. But you look at the Mid-American Conference, he's 7th in steals. In this conference, really getting it done on both ends of the floor. That leader, we talked about Spencer Littleson being a leader, Marion Jackson equally a leader both on and off the floor for the Toledo Rocket basketball team.
The other full timeout taken by Keno Davis. And 7 to 25 points, a new career high. Beechler is going to keep shooting. He'll keep missing shots. 0 of 9 from the floor, 0 of 8 from 3. And on the road in this conference against a good team, you can't have many guys having nights like that. And Beechler, we ran you through the numbers. He's struggled, and Lane has struggled, and Huffman struggled before fouling out with just 2 points.
And that's not common for Beechler because he's very efficient. 24 made threes in the year, 40% from the three-point line. And so one of those nights. And we give Toledo credit for making the looks tough for him. He'll bounce back.
Rollins driving. That was knocked away by P.J. Mitchell. There is Beechler. Still hasn't scored. Broadway with 2 more. Caleb Hodgson in the game, a reserve center from Dansville, Michigan. Very small town of about 600 people outside of Lansing. There's Mattia Akunzo off the feet from Shoemate. And Todd Kowalczyk will get the end of the bench into the game. Not that it's a very deep bench. Jonathan Kamagum and Luke Maranka and Blake Williams will all come in. Rashad Weekly McDaniels, a freshman, built a little bit like Devontae Lane, has come in. So this will get Toledo back on the winning track. After the loss on Saturday, ended an 8-game winning streak. There's Blake Williams forcing the turnover on the run out. Keyshawn Saunders, the reverse slam, the exclamation point.
Yeah, kind of indicative of the second half for Toledo here. Defense into offense. Keyshawn Saunders with the finish.
Toledo, despite really struggling from 3 in this game by their standards anyway, 9 of 29, that's 31%, shooting close to 50% all told for the game.
Yeah, they found different ways to do it, and that's the balance this team has, is they got guys that can drive it, as well, and then as the defense collapses, also to get wide open spot ups off of kickouts, and it makes your attempt at the rim that much easier when you don't have anybody with a hand in your face.
These two will play again up in Mount Pleasant on March 2nd, the penultimate game of the MAC regular season. We'll see if Central Michigan, if they can get help from more guys offensively, and if they are a little bit more cohesive by then. 89-72, your final. Toledo gets to 12-4. Central Michigan drops to 6-8.